Let us pray. Almighty God, we ask for your blessing and wisdom upon this Parliament. Direct and prosper our proceedings to the peace and welfare of the people of Solomon Islands. We ask this in the name of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Amen.
Thank you. Parliament resumes.
Asking and answering of questions.
Thank you. Question number 54 on the order paper. Thank you, Honourable Leader of Opposition.
Oui, Mr. Speaker, and vous pouvez talker. So, question 54, me directed to the Minister for Finance. Me read Sem. Can the Minister inform Parliament on the financial situation of Solomon Airlines and what steps are being taken to address it? Thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Minister of Finance, Treasury.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Leader of the Opposition, for that question. In answering that question, sir, the 2025 year-to-date, and that is in May, performance of the airline shows 34 million loss of revenue was due to multiple factors. In fact, decrease in passenger revenue for both domestic and international, and decline in the charter revenue on the international link. The 33% decline, which is represented by that, were mostly led by charter revenue reduction and domestic fleet services. Working capital continues to be a major challenge for the airline, and this requires immediate steps to cut costs through schedule adjustment and departmental cost measures. Solomon Airlines also had some borrowings. This is mainly to ensure a new aircraft, upgrade and maintenance of existing fleet. So the loans, BSP, which is basically overdraft, the outstanding loan to be repaid is 4 million. There is a loan with a side NPF as well. This one was towards the A320 Airbus. The outstanding loan for that is 23.2 million. And of course, government continue to still treats a loan for Twin Otter, which is not repaid yet, and 0% as well, and that is 37.4 million. These loans are fully guaranteed by SAG. In the event the airline default, the government will have to step in to support repayment. The repayment for the 37.4 million loan by SAG, as I've said, will repayment supposed to be commenced in September, but we'll have to look at that in view of the really poor financial situation the airline is in. Aircraft leasing continues to be a major issue. A large share of the airline's expenditure liability spent in leasing aircraft, and that is around a monthly expenditure of $368,000, which is for the leasing of second Airbus, and the monthly direct cost to than the replacement of the Twin Otter, which was damaged. Adding in the aircraft maintenance, insurance, and cabin crew cost, the monthly direct cost to Solomon Airlines is around 10 million. The lease and the insurance Solomon Airlines to maintain this cost for the safety of all travelers and maintaining a reputable airline industry. So the airline has been operating well below its capacity levels, and the expected revenue and anticipated to sustain its ongoing operation has not been forthcoming, resulting in operating accumulative losses for the last 10 or 15 years. So this one has not just happened this time, but airline has been in a tough situation for the last at least 15 years. Stiff competition, high operating costs, and lack of a passenger base are major contributing factors to this weak performance. Solomon Airlines' current position is a combination of historical issues, as I've said, economic realities, and unexpected market, unfavorable market condition, all of which combine to place the airline in an extremely perilous position. This position has now reached a critical stage, and without immediate shareholder intervention, the future of the airline can be compromised. That will result in much bigger fiscal as well as economic implications to our government and the economy. Economic reality for the nation is that the passenger base of around 130,000 to 130,000 passengers per year is insufficient to cover the cost of operation for the current airline structure. Unfortunately, there appears to be no economic drivers on the horizon that could be addressing the issue. Tourism offers limited potential and offers slow growth, as it will rely on significant marketing, product development, and infrastructure investment to deliver the inbound numbers necessary to drive passenger growth. There is no extractive industry potential with the capacity to require to drive economic growth, fly in, fly out flows, and secondary business development. Finally, the population based on does not have a significant middle class segment who traditionally offer the best opportunity to drive incremental passenger numbers. All this has given rise to a 32% drop in revenue for the airline since pre-COVID years, although costs have also been consistently kept below budget. In addition to the above, the most recent market challenges which have hit the airline badly is the Air Vanuatu shutdown, which removed a significant revenue stream from the airline through the aircraft crew maintenance, insurance, lease. Solomon Airlines was dependent on this arrangement to boost its revenue base, and for this reason the second Airbus was acquired. In the feasibility study, Solomon Airlines was forecasting 3.5 million to be income from this arrangement, that is Brisbane, Honiara, Port Vila, Brisbane routes, and with the inclusion of Auckland, Villa and Honiara routes, the revenue would have grown to 5.2 million on an annual basis. But this one had not turned out to be the case, as Vanuatu, Air Vanuatu, insolvent and liquidated. So the competition posed by Qantas also placed significant competition and challenge to the airline, amounting to an estimated loss of revenue totaling some 50 million in 2024. So the combined effect of these competition and the competition from Qantas and the Air Vanuatu arrangement created a flow effect which compounded the effect on the financial situation of the airline. Needless to say, sir, the domestic challenges is also there in terms of competition as of the improvement along a fast craft for service of the islands bangimi. This one also a significant challenge to the airline. We note that, sir, numbers probably down in 2024 by 40% revenue down from domestic routes. So that's the reality for Solomon Airlines in terms of its financial situation and causes that have contributed to that situation, sir. The government is determined to support and help resolve the current distress facing the national carrier. Some of the approaches the government is pursuing at the moment in consultation with the Solomon Airline board and management include already we have injected 5 million in July, which basically towards our external creditors, so that what call on airlines, and that may further grounding of the aircraft. The government may further approve a 15 million injection into the airline following a volatile and unprecedented performance just recently. The proposal is that the funding of that 15 million from the government would be used to support the monthly lease maintenance reserve costs of the following aircraft. Solomon Airlines and Malta still working on these together with other, relevant ministries as well of tourism and Ministry of Communication and Aviation. In addition, sir, the government support is always there in on annual basis, which provides community service obligation to Solomon Airlines around 5 million each year. As you know, the objective of the community service obligation is to compensate local domestic routes, making it affordable for our people to travel to the islands. So Solomon Airlines plans to relive and disposal of the Twin Otter to interested buyer. This was the one that was damaged by South Pacific oil refilling tank at the price of some 57 million. There is a potential buyer willing to purchase this refurbished aircraft at the price stated above. In return, Solomon Airlines will purchase a similar aircraft to the Twin Otter as part of the fleet or a lease, and thus aid to support ongoing routes. Other aircraft types suitable to our conditions are being explored as well. So further actions include conditions will be considered by the government in coming days. This is mandatory to support provided by our government. Conditions that will consider by the government include a full review of the business be carried out. That is the business review of the Solomon Airline with a clear financial plan will be produced to the government by November this year in order to return the business profitable position within the next 3 to 5 years. The government and Solomon Airline have engaged World Bank consultant under the SIRAP to look at reviewing the operational financial performance of the airline as well, and this is yet to be provided to the government. As part of this, the government is also keen for that assessment to recommend options to open the airline to partners who may be interested to be partnering in the airline as well. So recently the country has become a strategic location for meetings, bilateral, multilateral, as well as some sports tourism as well, which now starts to happen annually. And because of the importance of our traveling passenger, the government will continue to be committed to ensure that the airline continues to fly. Thank you, sir.
Honourable Minister, Leader of Opposition.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. From responsible Minister, I may look also Solomon Airlines a bit of more than it can chew. Time Vanuatu may become insolvent and enter into liquidation. Solomon Airlines saw that as an opportunity, so I'm absorbing more the routes. Lo Vanuatu that's necessitating this for a lease lo second Airbus. Second Airbus yana no sa swalom lease yana embarawa. As Minister him said, the biggest liability on its books on a monthly basis. Then other routes don't make money. So really it's a terrible management decision. To have seen Vanuatu go down with those routes and then to think those routes are profitable is really very poor judgment, unfortunately. So my question is, with regards to this aircraft, they do need to divest of it. What steps are being taken to get rid of that second aircraft, or one of them, at least retaining one Falcon? I know the first one is old, and the lease is coming up soon. So maybe get rid of that one. But they can't obviously hold on to both Airbuses. What now situation lo that one? Thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Minister.
Thank you, sir. In short, the termination of that lease agreement will cost the airline as just the same as if we continue for leasing them all same. But sir, the ministry, as I already mentioned, recommends that it's not just termination of that, but a full review of the business is carried out that will produce, as I've said, a clear financial plans and marketing administrative plans, and also restructuring of the airline. So it's a holistic kind of approach rather than just a termination of a lease agreement of the Airbus, because the cost will be in fact similar. So as part of that, we are in a discussion with the airline so that a drastic resizing of the structure and operations be carried out, a clear financial plan, as I've said, cost cutting in non-essential spending, cancellation of non-commercial routes, strengthening of non-passenger revenue and freights, and aggressively marketing of new charters. So instead of termination, maybe to look at ways to sublease or charter so they gain or earn a little bit of more revenue long term. Thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Minister. Honourable MP, would you like to follow up on the supplementary? Okay. Leader.
Just to follow up on that lease have no cost failures and things have changed in no more by negotiation. Obviously, the lessor is wanting to insist so that airline must fulfill him. Pay him. If you give him back, you pay him full one anyway, so enforcing. But there are costs to them also, and I think that needs to be explored as first option. We must terminate him lease. They're being unreasonable, and that needs to be brought forcefully in negotiations. Secondly, sir, perhaps trying that one, and then this needs to be escalated up to diplomatic level. That is taken up to that level, make him, sure the lessor company are aware, whether at the bilateral level that this can be raised with their parent or the country that company Elohim would see if there is some relief that could come through such channels. So I think accept them number one is the final position. My question, sir, is with regards to this fella outstanding claim lo time fuel tanker blow Pacific Oil hem go hamam now plane Andaranga or something else in Paso. That's $20-some million damage. If that one hemi go in, it will, at the very least, postpone all the struggles where airline got with them creditors, and it would then take off the burden, the pressure for government, put them in additional cash injection right away. I hear, I'm not sure how accurate it is, that South Pacific Oil less for payment, not like for Golokot. Pacific Oil, NPF, Onamen, NPF, Chairman, Block Government, and Minister of Finance, power telemoget no in kind. Make it pay straight no, this kind of way, spoil an important service to country too. So, something about disputing, maybe you can settle it at level where no go spend them 2-3 years more or court more and drag him out the situation. So what's happening on that lost claim? Is it close to being settled? Thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Minister.
Thank you, sir. Before I go on to this damage that noted by South Pacific Oil refilling tank, sir, I think that option of diplomatic, approach. I don't know whether you may start doing that one with the lease or the country of where the lease comes from. But we are exploring certain, areas where maybe through diplomatic channel we could, negotiate or see what can work, especially with respect to Qantas, its courts here, and as well as with Vanuatu. So that is an area where we can, use that diplomatic channel to see if it can help us also. But los lease agreement, yeah, it's not because what the tale maybe that no, you cannot be, but it's because of the agreement. We say also now, unless we strongly negotiating with him. On the South Pacific Oil and the airline issue with the Twin Otter at the moment, the damage sustained by the aircraft can be fully insured and fully paid for, and the aircraft, in fact, can be refitted, finished. Just wait for some certification to declare it any survey fly and so that is fully covered by the insurance companies of both the company. It is the business loss that Amy incurred. I think now it's probably 15 months now. That is also insurance company has a lot of questions and queries, and it's likely that they may not be agreeable to pay for that. So this is where the two companies, South Pacific Oil and Airline, tuwala also imparata numaya as Italian, tuwala sabi so story no more, and that is currently going on. As a ministry, we organized meetings with them so that we get maybe not different people too. I mean, the board of those entities, basically government offices as well, and they could look at how now, they can agree to pay for the business losses that the airline has incurred. So that they are continuing to talk, and may believe that they will. They promise me that we will find a solution for you soon. So we happily wait.
Thank you. Honourable MP for Small Malaita.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Certainly, Minister, Dr. Komi, sorry no maya, Mr. Speaker. This is a repetition long 15 years ago, 15 months now, I'm total problem long one in damage, but this whole problem long Selenium or Airline, it seems to me 15, 20 years over. So, me like Savinoma, whether we have come to this decision whether law question here. You mean capable for running airline? It seems to be a very appropriate question. Otherwise, you mean do you know what's something you make a injection? I don't know how much now. Me no harem good, but call something else $50 or $20 million every year. Me also me apply normal plaster. I long one vala big well so I say. So we really need to work this out. Me look this one here. Me concern is that if you mean not careful, this will eventual situation where Kasim ever not by Kasim sooner or later this company by insolvent. We have a company that's over leveraged. So sir, all the issues were raised by a leader of opposition. We concur with him. One small question now, me want to survey. If the minister can inform the House, Lord 12 sector blow airline, overseas sector and domestic. Which one now you may making money? And I know 12 everyone look also me no but making money no more. But of the two, which one now you may a little bit making revenue line? Thank you, Mr.
Thank you, Honourable Minister.
Thank you, sir, and thank you, member for Small Mala. You through sorry one, but maybe something that has happened for maybe longer period than that. As you know, airline industry is a very challenging industry as well. Not just Solomon Airline, and Solomon Airline being a very small airline, and we face him even more difficult compared to other, other airlines which also faced similar challenges across the globe. So Amy Ruania will look at that. As we said, this was a syrup-based consultant that have been doing this assessment, and we should also look into the option of now for you, a little bit divesting or some of the shares taken up by any interested airlines for coming, maybe long international link also. So that's a concern that we agree with, and we continue to explore how best we can move forward with that. In terms of also which sectors na any loss making and which sector any little bit profitable also, yeah? Both domestic and international one make a loss. Yeah, also. Domestic one, as me telling earlier on, not many of our people are traveling. One is traveling on a year. Then, because of the fast craft bulimia, come put in a lot of challenge in terms of competition, and a lot of people who are used to travel to airline, I think, find them easier for travel by what Express or say Pelican, Auki, or also carrying a little bit more cargo also too. So challenge will domestic international sector. Some route any little bit good, like the Onera Nandi, Brisbane Santo. We've cultivated the demand for that, and now Emi 10 buta for you, but some are not, and sustaining big loss too. Yeah, Honiara Villa, even Brisbane Honiara at times, Emi no more 2 years, and Auckland Villa. So these are the sectors that the airline will review, and then a report will be submitted to the government later on this year. Thank you.
Thank you, Honourable MP for Central Honiara.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Me don't got any good idea for sharing on them city below airline, yeah. But just for interest sake no more, was along the lines where small malite and talemia lo just for understanding no more which segment long business here I am not really making good performance. Yeah? You were referring to 40% reduction law revenue. With that 40% there, in terms of distribution law reduction when causing, is it heavy on the international or domestic? And if it is low domestic, what is it? Just because of consumer behavior and it change? Or is it price related that enforcing some situation? What a possibility lo yumi for look low reducing price here, fair here, so that you may try for boosting the volume. Something thing no more. Osembar mitale mimbaraba no garem some idea how na for yumi fixing problem. It seems to be a problem that has been going on for some 20, 30 years here. So let's start off with that one no more, and then me a little bit interest too large well issue law lease blame law is it a dry lease or wet lease? Wet lease meaning that what nice some arrangement that we have been having in the past where it's the aircraft, the crew and everyone in knows in part of that lease, or are we just basically leasing the aircraft now? Which of these two you mean opt for? Is it a wet lease or a dry lease? And whether those choices were made are thought about. Suppose the same one vala me too expensive for you, why didn't we opt for the other? Giving go aircraft no more than they can handle the insurance or something or same, yeah? Good him too and pull me down. The international side, yeah. So a question also may not be like asking because also meeting in situation but I'm continue for persist here. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, Honourable Minister.
Thank you, sir, and thank you, Member for Central Honiara and Chairman of the Public Accounts Committee. Also, I think valid concerns and in the form of a question. Longo loss-making routes along the country, as we stated earlier on, both domestic and international overall, the making loss here. And a little bit outlining of this along which sectors the international route here, what making good money for us and which ones are not also. For example, Honiara Nandi and Brisbane Santo, a good one. Honiara Port Villa, not much, and Honiara Brisbane sometimes because of competition by Qantas, I'm not perform good too. And this for Auckland Villa, yeah, I'm not make a good revenue for the airline as well. So those are under review and as me tell them out, sectors that are not making money, what are good candidate for you, what are maybe terminating or saying so. I'm also domestically, yeah, any challenge, I think if we continue from making a loss, no domestic routes. So I think a little bit tilted towards domestic too, and we make him more loss, also, law country. So the arrangement with flying to Vanuatu this time, go to Vanuatu, Brisbane, and Port Vila Brisbane and Port Vila Auckland. It's not on any lease arrangement now, yeah. I'm just purely commercial routes, no more. Iran also no more. Because that arrangement here, lease arrangement here, when Vanuatu Bakarap also, everything fall apart now. Also. I think wait list here, that one here, but fall apart finish now. This time what run as commercial run mamolong o kita sectors inside lang Vanuatu here. I think no more what you say, sir.
Thank you, Honourable MP for Northern Georgia. You have the floor, sir.
Mr. Speaker, supplementary question number one. Look, current poor financial situation and performance for airline. How many years more by airline rely on government support? And if ministers have informed house, by how much now you may give him airline every year? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Honourable Minister.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. I think that point raised by earlier before me come the question. Thank you. As member for Central Honiara, that option of look at how if you miss have a reducing price fares. Yeah. I think recently you may look at a 5% increase. I think some $15 also no matter here, 5% here. But I think that is part of our current review too. We have to look at the price, be a little bit or looking at way. In terms of supporting government support to airline, any sorry that airline national carrier, the importance of safety in while flying here, paramount concern everyone the travel too, especially some Bogolo constituency also. So I think Baba Yumi continue for supporting airline as far as I'm concerned. we'll work on how now for any investor coming so that, they may make some reforms, some restructuring so that them have a self-sustained or same, and maybe at one point be free from supporting our airline, but in the medium term or to also maybe long term a little bit too, some 5 to 8 years or so, I think Baba we continue to make sure that we continue to fly with our airline and fly safely as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Honourable MP for Malmaleta.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Just following on from the question raised and the Minister's response. So far, what kind of patch up work on me. So, real one now is the long-term solution we should look like. So I want to know, I think one fellow or minister a little bit mentioned him no more, whether there is anyone who interested in airline here or minister mentioned him looking at an investor for come look long whether what's operating. Him go back to this whole question me raising whether or not we have really answered the question. You miss a running airline or no more? Question and a long term solution will have now you little bit that that's but you nothing telling good no more coming. So me like Save. The other long term solution to go back to this kind total 10 million, 5 million or more here is the idea or policy lo you may help him airline so that every airport is tahsil. Sir, me understand them, and the minister can correct me on this, that one for a big for operational cost long airline is kind of every time we got to come land low grass, airfield and mud and any kind of sticky cousin inside low water. Propeller, or the come would have to repair huge repairs every time. So what if we may get an aircraft or maybe 2 triple aircraft which can do a number of airports low one round instead of you put on fuel or Gizo fuel or Parasi fuel or Auki. What a big aeroplane here like Dash 8, probably they can do 4 or 5 airports low one run, yeah, without refueling. But they have to have tahsil one. Me raising this one, sir, because me worry low the trend that the minister has announced by Odluluk Longo non-commercial routes. Is takatumas non-commercial, yeah. Me worry that some of the airports, me Ivalra and this time, will become non-commercial. Then the purpose of the airline, no manner, Mr. Speaker. Purpose of national airline and no longer. Question now, me want him for maybe minister himself respond to him too. Thank you.
Honourable Minister.
Thank you, sir, and thank you for that supplementary question, member for Small Mala. As me talent got earlier on, this fella consultancy under the SIRAP, Solomon Islands Road and Aviation Program Lagumia, look into reviewing the operation of the airline and should come up with a number of options for us, including if there is, some attractiveness along airline, looking for you attractive any investor coming. That is part of a longer term solution for us. As you said, infrastructure, aviation infrastructure, especially along the airport, EU Turuan, yeah, that one in a long term more our underlying factor for the success of airline, not just airline, but other businesses too. So in fact, they may all boils down to even tourism infrastructure also to or for that matter other sectors too. So the business sector to grow, and that is the important agenda for us and for government in particular to ensure that a productive sector and infrastructure tourism, agriculture, all these are connected to, traveling market, and it is critical for us to invest in these areas so that we create a vibrant market for the airline and also for other businesses as well. So I think you point them are important one, not just a long-term solution to the airline, but the underlying factors for us to make sure that business overall and tourism also must come up to tourism infrastructure in particular. Thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Minister. Okay, last, perhaps Honourable MP for Central Honiara.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for what are the steps taken. But before I come to that, let me just make a comment. Normal concerning the syrup here. Minister, you throw him out. Yeah, me no like him. Or money becomes calling me. Use him on people blame me. We did that in the past and then we made the improvement. Improvement by him work good, but at least set the foundation for him to build a long term. That's what I've experienced in the past. But this was a syrup consultant you like to engage in. Throw him out. By what comes calling me. This airline has gone wrong simply because of other people that you may listen lower there. I'm not going to say expatriates or whoever, but you stop them over there. The next something when me like him for stopping now. I think we have made a suicide for choosing now for filming sila gap do ever not to wet lease that you just refer and ever not to. I think there was a poor decision that you make them. Because wet lease, everything you may have to bone in, the aircraft, the staff, insurance and everything. So how many look low we were fast going down the hill simply because of that decision that you may taken. I think you should stop him now. You stop him with a wait list one time. Ever not. Then I think Prime Minister, you pay him on sila cyclone, not cyclone, earthquake promise believe me that we haven't paid here, Kasim today. I think that could be the reason why I would not go pay you or something to you. Me not too sure, but that's beside the point. No, consider that one too much. I think we have to seriously review now the option that we have taken to fill in the gap that ever not to have me leaving me. I think we made a rash decision to jump into that situation. We should have considered it very carefully. I think if we considered it very carefully, we shouldn't be going down that hill very fast as what we are experiencing right now. I'm no more small comment with me like for make him look there and what's your take on that, Minister? I mean, of course, there are long-term issues that we need to consider, but that comes with the way that you be building up the economy too. And in the meantime, I think we need to explore all options, possibly an open sky policy for countering now, some of the heavyweights that are coming into our aviation industry. I mean, when you bring in Qantas in here, them heavyweight here, it's a global airline, They have the capability to drop the price. Where we don't, it would be to our disadvantage, So perhaps, we could phase it out, over a period, considering open sky policy, open it up, and then see how we can move forward, with the way that we put ourselves along a side development path. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Honourable Minister.
Thank you, Sir. Thank you, Member for Central Honiara. I mean, comment much longer through my consultancy report. Maybe I mean good time me looking name just design long and maybe I'm good for then some of the calls for review and and look in if no work out them that's thorough also. But yeah, me very much agree that the board then am not doing a proper maybe in-depth due diligence along that fella. Vanuatu arrangement because not a long time no more earlier long last year no more and then let me go down now. I think some sub eye or some Linda I think it could have looking when things might go wrong or same and you might not go to that path and so maybe I will agree with that. There's no proper due diligence done by management and maybe the board. But any companies now and we see no longer there too, whether any dry lease or wet lease or this time or around no more. And our current CEO and me Michael Vanuatu for some negotiation. I don't know what number by him come up with him, but is talking with the Vanuatu at the moment on that. Here, this wala payment go longo kata Vanuatu longo disaster earthquake here. Up in BI a little bit, yeah. And in fact, we were going to dispatch a team of police and nurses also, but they have a lot of support from other development partners too, and what advising me come that am right no mipala sabi handling situation with the support that come from New Zealand, Australia, also so them go anything.
Thank you. I think take one more supplementary question from the MP for West Harare.
Thank you, Speaker. Thank you, Minister, for enlightening Umilo Somali Airlines. For last 25 years, since 2000, you miss status quo normal of Somali Airlines, yeah. Because of Somali Airlines, him stop lo hard. Me like for commenting more the Prime Minister's blame me from that time come and over Finance Minister. Because him was picking in blame me, so no matter him no make money, you go ahead for always selling inside no more. That has been what you mean. Something and Minister him again Toto him by you continue for supporting airline. I think him high time you look serious now. Small Malayta him Toto him. So this will review him come here. Him opportunity for me go na me go back to Central Honora him say Torway World Bank him between review too. Yes, by you take him got a record Minister World Bank him to him too. No could same report no more. Similar pa him come and me continue with him problem by me. Let's take a serious focus and commitment into this one. So supplementary question blow me no more because this one year last 25 years me count him go same no more. Like now Minister you sublote you go ahead for injecting no more selling inside some airline because him picking in blow me can bright lo him and some tourism no sell pick up it agriculture no pick up economy no pick up those are the dreams you can big dreams him could one but you need for connecting my central honor him talent make him viability of some airlines him come him make him profit before yeah but him come him go down because now that there is competition you highlight him internationally and locally competition pa him stiff na yeah him beginning blame but he allow someone to compete against him too. So what now if you throw away as a central honorian question this will review yeah you have immediate action in terms of the domestic and international competition out there for you sustain him and help him some airlines or you rely no more but you hold inside law main person no more and then you inject go or you have immediate plan in place to really tackle that competition for airline him alive. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Member for West Africa. Well, now you let them review me happen first time. Then my report come out, time just design or I thought go it first time. And time report me finished, then you just assess him and looking whether you may rubbish him or you may review more with some local perspective. Belonging me, but I think you pointed out a very valid point which I mean earlier comment long to sir. So I mean say a lot more long that one me agree lo you and bara also ma beginning in believing me, kalam believing me and flies me living. But sometimes that love or pride in me sabi running me down too. So this is where Papa Yumi seriously put some condition in restructuring long or management long Yumi. Me talk with him then promising me for come up with some restructuring plan based on what expenditure, reduction measures also, and the loss side long revenue new. If you miss have a leasing, subleasing, or chartering, so our new CEO, not new CEO, it's an acting CEO too at the moment, and Yumi advertise for new CEO. Work on this for restructuring and should report back to the board and to the government as soon as I'm completed.
Thank you, Honourable Leader. Also, maybe you just can make a summary of the question and before we move to the next subject. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And I do wish to thank the Minister. Hemi, good that government continue for support him. But important review him important for happen so that him not become one of bottomless pit to him to throw himself and go inside. There's got to be some rationale. Exploring options is important. There was a time when domestic was profitable, and for a long period of time, international was profitable, even when Virgin was also competing below international, the Brisbane-Honiara route. So, we've been down these roads with the airline before. Some things have changed, of course. So I'm good for review and look low. What needs to happen. Solomon Airlines continues to be extremely expensive for air travelers. That too, I think review should look low, Minister, including all of TOR, also Chairman of PACM Talem. Perhaps the high fares to him contribute low uptake, low number of passengers, low at the various sectors. It's more expensive to fly Brisbane Honiara or the other way than it is to fly Brisbane London, and surely that's not rational. But of course, as the Minister may say, this is a whole sector-wide issue within tourism and infrastructure that does warrant much more thorough planning and investment mid to long term. With those comments, I do wish to thank the Minister and the government for standing with Solomon Airlines, maintaining continuing air services. Thank you.
Thank you. Let us now move on to our next item of business. Thank you, Honourable Leader of Opposition.
Bills, second reading, the National Building Standards Bill 2025.
Thank you, honourable members. On Thursday, 7th August 2025, the Minister moved the second reading of the National Building Standards Bill 2025, and debate on the question was adjourned according to Standing Order 48(5)B. Therefore, debate on the bill will thus continue and start today and continue. And members may now wish to speak on the general principles of this bill. Please, in doing so, may kindly remind members to comply with the rules of the debate set out in standing orders. Therefore, the floor is now open for debate. Thank you, Honourable Leader of Opposition.
Are we, Mr. Speaker for the opportunity to be the first to contribute to this very significant and very important bill now before the House. First, let me thank the Honourable Minister, the young and agile member of Law Central Kwarai, and his staff for the work put into getting the bill to the floor of the House. Also, sir, I do wish to also extend my gratitude to the former Minister for Infrastructure, Member Blow, is Malaita. This was billion bill blow me follow quaxe. Because to quax now or but of course, as Minister Hemi said, the bill precedes even the former Minister Blongo MID in the work that was put into getting it to the House. Although the bill is relatively short, sir, it deals with matters of great importance to our society and economy, and therefore is very significant in its effects. The purpose of the bill is stated as the establishment of national standards for the construction industry and all things incidental to that, and to provide for the making of a national building code to give effect to the standards and to regulate the construction industry by ensuring compliance with the national building code, by providing for the regulation and certification of building practitioners. Up to now, sir, although planning and development boards have referenced Australian and New Zealand building standards in their building permitting processes, these are not mandatory. We have experienced, sir, big earthquakes and cyclones, and I think it is fair to say that we have not seen the level of destruction to buildings seen in other jurisdictions with similar natural hazards. We thank the Lord for that. And this may partly be in thanks to the efforts of planning and development boards when they insist on the non-mandatory Australian and New Zealand standards. Those standards, sir, cover the quality of materials used in construction, structural and engineering design and workmanship. These are the three critical components to ensuring the integrity and safety of buildings. So quality of material very important. Time out hardware take come raw material even trouble now. And this one big problem inside our country blame. And then of course the engineering and the structural design does require to be standardized given the level of seismic activity in our country, and then of course the quality of workmanship and certification, accreditation of that workmanship, so that there is no shoddy construction. At that time, we're doing work, or we're not cut corners, or inside for a little bit more cement now go inside, but gravel now stuck a cement or some brick you go buy me. You know, stapler, if you stapler, buy pieces now, because of the cement hem no stuck, sandbis now stuck. So we'll get something very important for this fellow industry. So we know that there is no control at the moment on the quality of building materials imported into the country. It's not a good situation. This situation has been particularly bad in the last 25 years, sir. This has been an area of great vulnerability for our construction sector. Being a relatively poor country, sir, makes Solomon Islands a price-sensitive market. Therefore, some importers have exploited the price sensitivity by bringing in poor and substandard building materials, which allow higher margins to be charged on low-quality building materials. There has been no control, sir, on this matter. There is a need, sir, for a more robust certification process for importers to ensure there is quality control at the points of entry into the country of building materials. This would be the most efficient way to enforce compliance with mandatory quality standards for building materials, coupled with hefty penalties for those who breach such quality standards. You may save, sir, people blame me. By I got go one hardware, then go looking price on our hardware. If price on our hardware me down, no much quality, no much good, but I got buy them cheaper one, you know. It's a very price sensitive market, blame me, because you know, I got them stuck cash too much. At present, sir, the liability for loss or damage due to the structural weakness or destruction of a building lies on the owner and or the lessor of the building. It is, sir, worthy of consideration whether to extend such liability to reflect responsibility for the quality of building materials, quality of workmanship, and the approvals and permitting process. So naturally, sir, this raises liability on the planning boards as well. And therefore, by work backwards, kakam passing back government to you, if the planning boards are approving substandard materials, substandard workmanship, substandard design planning applications. Each of these contribute to the integrity and safety of buildings, sir, and each should share in any liability arising out of their element of a destroyed or damaged building. I'm not sure, Mr. Speaker, that this is done anywhere, and it may be impractical, but it is worth considering. Sir, it would surely improve the overall incentive and result in high vigilance for safety and integrity in buildings. Further, Mr. Speaker, the quality of workmanship is a critical factor in the safety of buildings. There is a critical need to have a body that regulates and disciplines building practitioners to ensure that they are compliant in their trades. This is important to the overall goal of ensuring building standards are maintained. Of course, building practitioners comprise a number of trades with their own specializations, like carpentry, civil and structural engineering, plumbing, welding, electricals, fire, architects, and so forth. The training in such trades, sir, and the certification, accreditation are all important to maintaining high standards in each of the trades. A robust system to create apprenticeships for each trade is essential to maintaining high standards. This one you got them before, time lo HDI before student outcome, I got a number of years apprenticeship first time and certified that I may fulfill him competencies below that for trade before him receive him certificate, a certificate that's recognized internationally. And so apprenticeships must be an important part of more certification, look at the trades. These require, sir, that much more work is to be undertaken to properly set up trades bodies to take up the responsibilities for each of the trades. Opportunities offered under the APTC and PALM could be exploited, sir, to meet some of these needs. Further, there is need to collaborate with our partners to support us in developing all kinds of trades. So what this bill seeks to do is to provide for the imposition of Australian and New Zealand standards in Solomon Islands by regulation through the National Building Code. The National Building Code will regulate the quality of materials to be used in construction and the standards that must be met in the design, engineering, and construction of buildings. Compliance with and enforcement of the National Building Code will be through the certification of building practitioners. The registration, certification, and conduct of building practitioners will be provided for by regulation. Compliance with and enforcement of standards on the quality of building materials and geotech testing requirements will be through an internationally accredited laboratory at the Ministry of Infrastructure Development. The current bill, sir, does not provide for the powers, functions, and resourcing of that very important laboratory. This, Mr. Speaker, is arguably a weakness in the scheme. It relies on an administrative mechanism for a core element of building safety. That's something that perhaps the Ministry should look at for an amendment later on. Of course, Mr. Speaker, requirements imposed in the National Building Code will mitigate risks associated with any deficiencies on the part of the laboratory. However, it is important that a laboratory that will be enforcing quality standards is itself properly mandated by law. Sir, because the matters being provided for are technical and are likely to change with technological progress over time, the bill empowers the Minister to make regulations to establish the National Building Code and such other regulations that would give effect to the purpose of the bill. Changes to the National Building Code and building standards, therefore, sir, need not come to Parliament for enactment. This is good. The establishment, sir, and enforcement of building standards necessarily creates red tape. Safety is important, so one could say the red tape is a necessary evil. However, it must be a desirable public policy outcome, sir, to see more Indigenous Solomon Islanders own their own homes in registered land and perhaps even own commercial buildings in registered land. For many such Indigenous Solomon Islanders, sir, they build their own homes over so many years. It is therefore a relevant question to ask whether the additional red tape required by this bill will make it harder for Indigenous Solomon Islanders to be able to build their own homes in the way that they currently do. It is important, sir, that a balance is struck. Safety must not be compromised. So this is not an argument for undermining or compromising safety. But at the same time, the process of approvals ought to be simple and affordable, especially for Indigenous Solomon Islanders, to be able to build own homes, even if they're doing it over an extended period of years. Upfront costs such as geotech tests, UXO tests, architect fees, engineer fees, and then planning board fees, although necessary as standards are imposed, can become serious impediments to Indigenous Solomon Islanders owning and or building their own homes. And therefore, sir, every effort must be made to minimize these costs, as they can be obstacles. Sir, the bill must not result in making it difficult and unaffordable for Indigenous Solomon Islanders to be able to do this. Mr. Speaker, standards are technical matters that require technical capacity to establish, maintain, amend, and enforce. Therefore, the standard setting authority must be vested in a body with the requisite technical competence. This is a weakness in the bill, Mr. Speaker. There is no technically competent standard setting body. I note the amendments that Minister and give notice to him will go some way to mitigating this problem. Sir, this power in the bill rests solely in the Minister, who may or may not follow the recommendations or proposals of the advisory committee. In such technical matters, Mr. Speaker, it is important that the Minister acts solely on the advice of a technical, competent body. And I note that the Minister has now taken that recommendation on and has proposed amendments that are on notice. In technical matters, Mr. Speaker, the Minister ought not to have discretion, but should be acting on the technical advice that he or she receives. But because the bill does not provide for such technical standard setting body, it has given that discretion to the Minister. So I'm happy that that matter has been remedied. Bill Hemi created an advisory committee, and as the name suggests, it merely advises the Minister on standards, codes, amendments, training requirements, etc. However, all the matters it is tasked with providing advice on are matters requiring technical competence. Allowing ministerial discretion assumes technical competence. This is a dangerous assumption, Mr. Speaker. Further, sir, although the advisory committee is tasked to advise on technical matters, its composition lacks the competence to properly discharge such a mandate. Every PS and also Nalohem. Of the 9 members, only 4 can be said to possess the technical competence to adjudicate on and determine matters of technical standards. This, sir, is a grave weakness, and in turn, this weakness has further weakened the entire scheme in the bill. It is important, sir, that the bill be amended to change the name of the committee to something akin to a building standards committee. It must be comprised of qualified, certified architects, engineers, structural, civil, materials, fire engineers, and such other relevant fields of expertise. In matters of standards, sir, the Minister must not have discretion and must merely act on the advice of the Building Standards Committee or something akin to that. If this direction is taken, and I note the amendment has taken that direction, then the functions of the Building Standards Committee will need to be amended. Consequently, the powers of the Minister will also need to be amended to properly align with those of the Building Standards Committee. Further, Mr. Speaker, the powers of the Chief Building Inspector would also need to be amended to better align the powers of that office to those of the Building Standards Committee. The Barava call of this bill now is the Advisory Committee and Minister or Antaplohem, and then Office of the Chief Building Inspector, where he then link with the planning boards. If you change the original proposal or advisory committee becoming something more than just advisory, taking the competence for technical standard setting, then that means the Minister acts on their advice. I'm hemi gazetting look at the new standards and also, but I'm also meaning that you must also go and adjust them. Some of the powers that are given in this bill to the Minister matters dealing with detail. For example, Minister Save Odam, an inspection, inspector must go look at a specific residence or building also. That's a level of detail that should not be in the hands of the minister, but should be in the hands of a chief building inspector. The justification Ministry may give him was that time law, natural disaster, the minister can make those kinds of orders. But there is nothing that would prevent a chief building inspector undertaking such a responsibility and keeping the minister for the regulation-making functions only. So there are a number of other issues that require amendment in the bill, though perhaps of lesser import than those that I have already outlined. I will allow the chair of the Bills and Legislation Committee to speak to those as he explains his committee's findings. Again, let me thank the government and the minister for bringing the bill before the House for deliberation. I note that the minister has taken on board the recommendations made by the Bills Committee, and with those amendments, I think the bill will be very much strengthened and put it at a good place to start. Then with some experience over time, look to strengthen it further. With those few comments, I do support the bill. Thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Leader of Opposition. Thank you, Honourable Chairman of the Bills and Legislation Committee and MP for West Harare.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. By me talk brief and short, I'm in full concurrence with the Leader of the Opposition. He has thoroughly covered all the issues for the committee and the bill. Mr. Speaker, first time me have to thank him. The stakeholders, Mr. Speaker, first, thank you for the opportunity. Thank you, Minister, for taking come this bill, very important bill that imtola no current for long time. Thank you also, Lord Prime Minister, Cabinet, caucus, for supporting this bill come as him this stage, and me like for commenting me for that one. As Minister has alluded to in his speech, time lost second reading, more than 30 years, this will bill him stop around no and meeting say you me go straight, yeah, but time bill him come you sit down with him, ay, yeah man, that's the way. Me fala no sa looking start a development for hemi cocoa up or what a cocoa white no more. Mr. Speaker, me like for thanking members of my committee, hardworking members. We must always thank you, Mogata. Thank you, PS Law, MID with him, Mogata, TSC's technical staff, all the ministries, stakeholders that come. And thank you, Minister, for you lead him. Me, thank you, Minister, because Hemi won for a number of bills in the last 8 years. Mrs. sit down with him as me law Bills and Legislation Committee and Chairman. And this will give him level special Hemi ministry, but take him interest with him my committee for me follow looking at outcome. Hemi don't on me that the commitment to really ensure that the bill hemi come before the House, Mr. Speaker. Hemi barawa kabam na ogat interest blue me as a country, and me must comment in ministry for taking that direction, and Minister for hemi lead him. Minister hem also hem check me for even bills come here. How? And thank you, Minister. Him now how that minister should work you know say Bills and Legislation Committee him blow opposition no ma. Him blow Parliament him for helping him to government and him to mass and that with him what good bill. And Minister me like I can salute him for you take him that lead. Even you convene more meetings where me aware of him not to process where it makes sense. Thank you, Prime Minister, for a long time. I think timing too him play an important role in this achievement. And 15 clauses, Minister hem put him. Because mi fala, Toreko come, sit down, inquire, look at something, look at technical people blame me, Attorney General's chambers, then technical people, ministry, and the stakeholders. And the result, hem end up, imtal kam some follow good amendments, and me happy lo hem. Because me follow work hard hem. And I think the timing of that bill for my committee, and also the ministry and the technical experts to really interact and consult on it so that the outcome hem best and low interest by me. I think that one me look him the timing and if bills hem come imtola approaching osem and imtola akotim the time lo hem I think by imtola kakam with him over the good bills, Mr. Speaker. Time imtol rasim and imtol no I mean lo me hem Mr. Speaker that imtol no really can invest interest lo hem and hem osem imtol politic no ma by looking billion hem is stuck self and hem no sabe saving no more interest way imtol take bill come. I think that is important. Imtol like bill hem come hem go now. Tintin we me say oh by imtol amendment behind by imtol amendment by time plan no more amendments lo experience imtol hem take 10 years 15 years before amendment come lo kata act ya long time too much so me start for helping imtol for imtol looks at that one. So I thank all the stakeholders and me also acknowledge him caucus and cabinet for the process we go through, and me thank him minister and those in the ministry for that support where I could also give him law committee. The leader of the opposition has already covered the objects of the bill and hemi law report Imtola and hemi good objects. Imtola like him. For helping him to strong him now the built-in industry and also environment, Mr. Speaker. The rationale of the bill also being covered by the leader in his intervention. Hemi Barakutwan Imtala need him bill for hemi go hemi sit down so that Imtala sabe start him okat inspection okat regulating buildings, Mr. Speaker. I just intend to touch no more on a few of the issues where committee have find him law inquiry, Mr. Speaker. Already me acknowledge him the amendments have come him cover most of it. But me just like for reiterating no more those few points of the issues where committee have come up with them. First law registration, I think as him tell sabe, stakaman blimtel even no school, but okat carpenter ya. Okat work okat house. You call rural villages blimtel now, okat house or sem lohoniala, okat inside okat busia. And that hemi reflecting how skillful, knowledgeable, and okata carpenters blimtel or skilled people blimtel. And so this whole process here, Mr. Speaker, Minister for him take note lo hem, look good look at blimtel. Imtal not just ignore him okata and look normal okata man karem pepa normal. Imtal facilitate him so that they also continue with him the skill and their trade as well as their livelihood in that industry, Mr. Speaker. And so that registration is important. Their registration through the process as report highlighted, Mr. Speaker, by take him that safety go back law of the rural communities because of the big houses now they are finished. And how now by checked on, Mr. Speaker, under this new bill, hemi also important for him to start for noting, Mr. Speaker, and lulu good lahem because of the big house law of the villages blimtal, hem since him also whereby inspected law here. But in the villages, Mr. Speaker, because hem lo customary land by bile hem no kawam ya for kata kolulu hem kat inspectors, Mr. Speaker, and that is an area where imtar need for work hard hem and development, Mr. Speaker. Again, Mr. Speaker, the the other issue on exemption for government and council buildings report hemi also highlight them. I think intention lo there hemi clear lo committee, but for just coast nim noma ministry time okata come up with him okata guidelines block Mr. Speaker, then okata make sure standard hemi of high standard, Mr. Speaker, and quality hemi stablo there. Recommendation to hemi already covered that one, Mr. Speaker. Me like for touch no more inspectorate and enforcement capacity. Leader hemi talk follow hem finish, Mr. Speaker. This is always the challenge. Time intel come away to okata bills blame then okata wakaman lahem. Training him must come in now, Mr. Speaker. I think before imtal karam has the eye imtala karam name lohem because okata training lohem hem bara good. Lebet time intel lebet missing, and so when we come up with this bill, let's listen, Mr. Speaker. Then those people, technical people for okata enforcing this law, Mr. Speaker, okata must trained, Mr. Speaker. That one now me like for again highlight him. So it will be challenging inside law of provinces, and as I alluded to earlier, Mr. Speaker, inside law even constituencies, start nice building law there this time, Mr. Speaker, and how now by okata building okata come under this bill Imtola, Mr. Speaker, in the future. That is something for Imtola also work Mr. Speaker. Governance and technical oversight as an issue, Mr. Speaker. Sir, the authority, the advisory structure we need for establishing him must carry mokata technical people. Imtal not just rely no more on administrator. Pusum kolo hem noma, promote him kolo hem noma. No, we need to have quality people, technical inside local places here. I think we have made mistake in the past, Mr. Speaker, that Imtal just put him no more of wrong people, places of work, hence output blockata hemi not that of quality as we expect, Mr. Speaker. So to me that is important, sir. And sir, the resources for Imtal make more something waka hem important. This will build by him demanding big budget, yeah. The budget for okata work good. And time Imtal pass him, resources to him, Imtal must make sure him go. So that okata implement him now what Imtal pass him here in terms of the bill, Mr. Speaker. So the access and inclusion as an issue highlighted in the report, sir. Again, okata small contractors blame Imtola, okata rural communities, and even disabilities. Imtal need for Imtal include them. Look, okata take them okata in, so that it's inclusive, sir. The time Imtal provide for okata needs. Yeah, I think that is what the report highlighted, Mr. Speaker. So, building materials quality assurance, me happy. The building code hemi level big by hemi again updated, Mr. Speaker. But Imtola suffer lot this one. Little hemi already speak lot that one, Mr. Speaker. Quality of material where hemi come now. Imtola said him this one. Any material hemi imported, hemi must go through that quality test. At the moment, Imtola suffer. Constituencies now, Mr. Speaker, if you look at him per year, 5 million plus, him spend look at constituencies. Excellent for good, yeah. And time him tell take him material here, him go, or him no good now. Him don't know sakam refund him. Him don't know to anything about it. It's a big loss, Mr. Speaker, and because of the quality of the material where him imported and him use law or constituencies blame dollar. So, okat people blame dollar as leader of the opposition highlighted, okat the fallen price no maya. Time him cheap law here, okat pay now. but the quality no more there. And so when we put these mechanisms in place, Mr. Speaker, for helping people blowing taller, check him okata quality, Mr. Speaker, make him worth selling block at work at the spending, Mr. Speaker. So material hemi important, and me sabe the building code hemi take care of him, and there are spaces for improvement, Mr. Speaker, hemi lodium. The monitoring, Mr. Speaker, as an issue, yes, for imtala monitoring mokata project, hemi no easy, hemi need him selling. Inspectors for hemiko, hemi need him selling. And so for kata establishing that standard, for kata inspect follow, Mr. Speaker, imtala must put him resources so kata need him sell. I think the challenge where imtala facing this time, and by imtala not in now, this kind o kata hem kakamlo committee blomi o say fish and chips ya commission, Mr. Speaker, that one hemi barakilim now imtala. Yeah, every place you go no more heminim you must tip now. I hemosen and Minister, me challenge him you prepare for this one. Certain make him go bank. Yeah, okata wait money come to him. Okata him put no more. This time no more now. You pay for what services extra more. I'm a public service. Government him pay him what? Yeah. So this is a cancer inside the system. Where embarrassed for him and this bill. Time passing, Mr. Speaker, make him sit down for addressing and facing more of the issues here, make him start for retaining or the good work ethics come inside look at the industry, Mr. Speaker. So, sir, as by need for letting more the people blame Save lo this bill because him bill blockata, building him blockata. Mr. Speaker, I mean, radio program now, Minister, by you make him come on. Every day, you connect with people about this sort of bill changes here, the requirements, make him benefit him, aware. So, we highlight him radio program, him must come, and now social media platforms, him is come, access him, connect our people, because they need to know, they need to have knowledge of what now rights blockata and what now quality in terms of what this will be provide for kata. So again, me happy to much a lot of my report recommendations has been taken care of in the amendments. Thank you once again, Minister, and me also look him close and copy the update for committee maybe. Hemi come Kasim finish. Hemi already updated more amendments where Hemi noticed. Hemi come inside what this will be, Mr. Speaker. So waiting that one. Me again happy for supporting this bill, Mr. Speaker, and we receive him diploma.
Thank you, Honorable MP for was and Chairman of the Rules and Legislation Committee. I think to supplement and complement what the Minister was presenting, let me refer it first of to the MP for East Malay. You have the floor, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me the opportunity for me to speak a little bit on this follow bill. Yeah, I will be just brief. First, Mr. Speaker, I would like to thank the government for bringing this bill before Parliament. Especially thank the Minister for Infrastructure for taking this follow bill before the House. Yeah, Mr. Speaker, I've been working very closely with the bill during my time as Minister Law, MID, and I'm really happy to see that this bill come before the House for me debating this time. Sir, I know private sectors and stakeholders are looking forward towards this bill, and we're happy that them come, but what I too are happy for looking bill come before Parliament. As others have said, some of my colleagues have said, Mr. Speaker, bill a little bit, long time a little bit, but now have me come before House for immediate now, so really happy for such bill have come before House so that he is our Lulukulem and he is our passing, Mr. Speaker. See, as you look in this whole bill, the objectives is very clear, Mr. Speaker. The objective of the bill is very clear. Is to design to guide, for guide him now, how he may do more the buildings, Mr. Speaker. Designs, the materials that are used, Mr. Speaker, what standard planning builds, what the buildings that they be planning must be standards. So design, well-designed buildings, Mr. Speaker. So I think I'd just like to rise to show my support to the bill, that it's time that we need to have proper standard building codes on our buildings, Mr. Speaker. I think any time now, since independence, if you look at now, the buildings blaming, I'm still no build under the standard building code. We just build no more. We have a building standard there, but now we want to adapt the Australia and New Zealand standards. So I think in time that we need for must catch up with those standards. For the buildings blaming, the designs. Yeah, if you go in town, Mr. Speaker, some of the design or buildings, yeah, I mean, no, but I look fitting for stuff for town too. I mean, yeah. So I think it's time that the authorities that who will be looking at what the things here, or what must have what things here too, which type of designs are suitable to put them inside Logota. Certain town boundaries, inside city, yeah, kind of sense, Mr. Speaker. So I think as the bill has been very clear, no, Mr. Speaker. It's a technical bill, but let us leave it to the technical people to work on it, yeah, Mr. Speaker. But for Emilio here, Emi must have to support him what the bill so because this is one thing that by himself. Help him in our country for him is looking good buildings, proper planned buildings, where he build inside the city blaming, and other also to our provinces, Mr. Speaker. This one for whole nation, Mr. Speaker. So that's why I'm really happy, Mr. Speaker, for looking this one and me come before House. Also, Speaker, I'm a little bit like other colleagues have said, the chairman and me also say, and the leader. Materials to Mr. Speaker is very important. Materials for buildings, some are cheap for good, but when we have this building code and we pass, Mr. Speaker, there will be a group that also look at the materials that are coming in for monitoring what materials, yeah, for or that's a building or the buildings blaming them. Say, if you look good, some of our buildings too are designs for earthquakes. Yeah, I think Emilio here too, most buildings blame you or no design for earthquakes, Mr. Speaker. So I think this is important. Even a country where earthquake can come all the way to Mr. Speaker. Yeah, earthquake. So, Emilio side too. This one too, I'm not sure, Mr. Speaker. House where you sit down underneath here. Design for earthquake too, or every cement no more on top. Me worry a little bit. No good time at week then cement jam come down one time, me everyone me no say. Who have fast, who have run out by him survive. But these are some of the things that me think him that I'm good to mas for Bilia come so that he miss out lulu lot things or some. Oh, designer and must design also man building and building also. So we design it according to that type of building, Mr. Speaker. So I think that is for that one, Mr. Speaker. Yes, I think as me said, but me brief, no more, me just like for talk in support, no more, for this whole bill. Lastly, Mr. Speaker, I'd just like to remind, if you look locally, there are authorized people, yeah, there are authorized people that will look into the functions of the bill. Me just like for Tokosem, I think the chairman touched on a little bit, Los Avala areas, where we talk about fish and chips. But me just like for Tokosem, to our authorized officers who will be carrying out the functions of the bill, to be honest, Mr. Speaker, to be responsible, and to be transparent, Mr. Speaker. When you deal with him, not this fella, what things, because Wakablokotana, Mr. Speaker, for testing more materials, talk with them about supplies here. Or this one have no materials there, have no quality, okay? Or something. So time where supply have some come a little bit something, yeah. Speaker, things have me. Fish and chips or some chairman and talem, yeah. Then things have flow in, yeah, or some. Or designer have no proper, but then time have some come something, yeah. Have go now, plan and pass now. So these are things that I just like to mention here, just a reminder to all our authorized officers in this bill who will be dealing with this bill to be honest, transparent, and to be accountability on their work, Mr. Speaker. So I think I'm no more me like for Talem this whole bill, just in support, Mr. Speaker. So me thank you, Minister, thank the government for bringing this whole bill before the House. With those few remarks, Mr. Speaker, I support the bill.
Thank you, Honourable Member. Honourable MP for Central Honiara.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me the opportunity just for contribute also very briefly to this bill here. So I've been listening to the bills and legislation when they went through this bill. Very interesting one. But first of all, just like others have mentioned, that this bill has been in the working for a little bit long time too. I remember East Koyo, when he was in that ministry before, and also Member Blow Ismailita, and thank you, Member Blow Central Korai, for really taking the step to have this job completed. This has been coming on for some time. So this is a very, very important policy that finally I think we have just got the right touch to it to formally entrenching inside law legislation, setting the national standard or national building standard in our country. This is a very important thing for urbanization. And as a member for an urban constituency, I just want to add my voice to support it, that it is a very, very important tool that we have to do to set the standard right for urbanization or urban development in Chadlo, Country Blue Yumi. These are the important tools that needs to be made, sir, because urbanization is a very key driver for economic development too, I must say, especially for a country like Solomon Islands that we are struggling, to try to get our development right. Urbanization or urban development is a very, very important choice that we can make to driving economic development. And therefore, standards like this has to be established. And I want to thank the government for taking the necessary steps in making sure that we have this in our country. We all know that investment, side law, building, or real estate development inside any economy has always been the front line in attracting high capital investment. Amazon has always been in the front line. And it will always be a key driver that Babayan influence in economic development. Amazon. You see in other advanced countries and same. So we as a developing country, we have to follow the same pathway too. Amazon. So it is the right choice of a policy instrument that we have to take. So that I think is one very, very important point that I think need to be mentioned too. That as we are looking for areas that Babayams have really driving economic development inside the country, we have just made the right choice in putting this national building standard as one of the key elements that Babayami driving now, real investment in real estate development inside the country. And I think it will blend very well with the way that we have just recently made the choice along registration law titles too. We are now, even though we have good availability of land, but alongside urban development, we are still seeing a lot of real challenges in making land available for urbanization. So when we make the decision to changing now the registration or land registration system, from just horizontal to now vertical with this strata titling, that system that you may adopt, I think this will set the right standard for you to really enforce not just a strata title system that we have just recently adopted. And I hope that it can be keyed into the way that we are going to implement this bill. Say that strata titling system that Yomi recently adopted. Thank you, Ivola government and Yumi Ivanlo passed that we have worked so hard to ensure that that strata titling system has now become part of the titling or register title system that Yumi got in long country Yomi. Just on the principles below Jila Act here, I think it's a well structured bill. Setting out the key areas how we should be focusing on this very important legislation. But me like for mentioning some of the key things for institutions, for any worker, it is important that we must protect the integrity of those institutions. And I want to remind us as early as this now that we have in the process of now passing this legislation and having it as part of the legislation of country Yomi. Let's ensure that the integrity of how this institution by a worker must be well protected. Because institutions that we all know of, some of them in this country, where you may compromising the way that they should have operated, and be given that integrity, and always affecting too the operation of those institutions. So let us make sure that these institutions must operate in accordance with the integrity that the law may establish in Malta. That is the real challenge that you may government. That comes also with the whole issue of governance too. And Chairman of Bills and Legislation, Leader of Opposition, and others have mentioned about this, that, let us not forget this, because, these institutions will be operated by bodies or authorities that will do the standard, enforcement, and so forth. Certifications of practitioners, and so forth. So, governance for these institutions, the integrity must be given, that significance as the law intend them, to operate. And they must be protected too, I must say. They must be protected. So we ought to be reminded of this. In terms of the way that the objectives are set out in the legislation, I have no problem with it. Starting off with, just looking at the clauses in the in clause 4, what another purpose legislation, it sets out exactly what now you mean like him, that there has to be established a national standard, building standard, I must say. Yeah? And then it comes down with what are the minimum requirements, for you to ensure that, these standards must be enforced, I must say. The minimum standard. And then it comes out with the issues of, what are the construction standards, I must say. And then this is the part that me a little bit worried, and others have touch on it too. And that is, what are you going to use low construction? We are going to use materials here, I must say. And when materials are in the commercial environment, and then you tie them in to this standard, and become a problem for him, I must say. It will become a problem. Because you are obtaining the material for you to use in the building here, or outside the commercial market. So the issue is, how do we tie them up? Those who are marketing this material here. If order marketing very cheaply, or saying what others have mentioned, what will happen to the standards that you may enforce here? I think surely it will be compromised here. Don't forget that, when price may apply, where there is a competition, or when price is used in the commercial market, and if it is pushed downward, standards will be compromised. Standard will be compromised. So let's tie this. Let's link this, very closely in the way that you may enforcing the standards in this legislation. If we fail by this standard that you may try for enforcing the national building standard, and including also, the building code, Babahemi also compromised too. And now may look like why? Because I'm driven by the affordability. Where pocket him is affording standard somehow, there's always a tendency for him to lean towards what now? Affordability affording him. So watching that part, that's the part that also me a little bit worried of him. But then, if we keep ourselves to ensuring that the integrity and the governance of the institutions here have not compromised, I think we will be able to succeed in this area. But don't forget that, in the commercial world, when market and driving, the way that consumer behaviors and the choices of how income can be disposed and you go to him, there will always be a tendency, even look government institutions, regulations have always tilt towards where market seems to be driving us towards. I also want to say that the way that we've sounded out, the risk in the purpose of this legislation here, I quite agree with it. more emphasis is given on climate change and other environmentally related risks and so forth. But I think let us not forget, we are trying to build a standard there of real estate here. That is even more important, I must say. So that we can work within a market that Babahimi work for Yumi, I must say. That's why, I want to come back to remind him, Yumi, now the significance of how this bill, Bahami work well in activating now the application of strata titling that Yumi got Amazon. And I think it will solve a lot of problem with the space problem that Yumi got law town Yumi, especially the urban pressure that we have on availability of land. That is not to say that, we can always, strike some arrangement, within our people going forward. But, we are pressured with time to it. Within this period of time that we are going through, we are facing with a lot of challenges. So I think coming up with some very, very innovative ideas how put them in, legislations like this to other aspects that Babaham say work up well within our urban development. I think Babaham good for our country and good for our urban development, good for economic development of country, believe me too. So I think, me like for just emphasizing that point here that, of course, there are risks, sidelong, environment related, climate change related, risks that, we need to really step them up ourselves in building up standards. But I think we should not forget about, the quality of urban development, the quality of real estate development that you need to have in our economy. That is a very important issue. I think that, you should look at. And let's make some of these legislation and work together. They must collaborate and work together. So there we are. We have these standards. You certify properly those practitioners, and at the same time, and make them, the space available for the choices of those that wanted to, to have properties, in a strata building setup, low contribution, not only just horizontal but vertical. Last time, Minister Blow held him say, "Me tell him legal every premier, you come up with, this X hectare of land for suppose you like him now provincial development." Come on, Minister, I'm hard to for the premier for to go for that one. Let's look at the strata arrangement. I mean, you must build up here. Space is very limited. So, Minister have come up with a solution for you. This building standard. That's the solution. Say. So, this legislation, I think it will come up with a lot of solutions along with some development issues and challenges that we are facing. So, me agree when them Chairman Blow bills and legislation resourcing. Bills, you should a little bit emphasize more that point here. We need to put more resources into this. The side of monitoring in part of the development. Because if we fail, the beginning, but I'm hard to involve controlling it. But I'm hard too much to involve controlling. You compromise monitoring, early stage implementation law, the standards like this, that in well-regulated law legislation, we will fail along the process here. So we have to resource it properly. So, Minister, passing no more bill here. Next year, you start in budget now. Start the budget, put in the budget for starting now this. Why? This country needs an increased urbanization, urban development. I'm not saying for people for flow in Chadlo here, but we need some quality urban urban building in Chadlo, country. Because that's the only option that Babahim attracting high capital, flow out from our financial institutions and sectors. We don't say financial market because we don't have a market, or the financial institution sectors, and others that have an interest, potential, private capital investors outside for the come. One of the most attractive one now, side load, urban, physical building development, real estate development, you see, it can also drive a market down too. Yeah? Look at the situation in America. Even some of the banks that you may never ever believe that will be driven down or Babahem go down, but not go down. Why? Collapse blow real estate market. No more. Collapse blow real estate market. Sure. Minister, very energetic minister. I know that you will take the initiative, to make sure that this must be done. Please resource it properly. You must now start to compete for better resources on this, so that as soon as we start off, you must make sure that the mechanism for startup and also the monitoring must continue now. Say, one last point. No more me like we mentioned. No more side long. What me mentioning finished today about the commercial aspect, where him driven by certain commercially qualified compendium of materials where he will be used in the building industries, where practitioners will be relying on to be able to carry out their construction or their activities within this sector. Just like also what me mentioned, we got to be very, very careful about this one here. Because if these materials are available in the market at a very low cost, standard here by him compromised. So we need to, every hardware mania, the hardware firms in Chadlo, country blue, they've got to be certified too under this standard. They must be certified. If they are not certified, as practitioners or as the commercial dealers of those materials, standard labor go down. By standard labor go down. So they have to be. I don't know how another way to put them together, lawyer, maybe in the regulation possibly, or some quick amendment has to come inside, so that you may reducing to number block hardware. This is one way for you to regulate him, so that the hardware standard and the quality of come down now. Now for you one way you look PSA you will not worry. Me tell them you will everyone. You start looking you will not worry, because small suppliers blue by some lot but go out but Minister, Prime Minister, please, you must give him the space. You know, listen, Lord, me vale, So, me welcome, cry lawyer, you protect him now, one little bit lawyer, what a man there. Don't listen. Standard is the one that you need to enforce. I must say. Standard. And standard, I'm not driven by price alone, You must look at the quality too. I must say. Durability, belong water, materials here. I must say. No good to price him high, but you hold him on my break enough. You hold him break. So it has to be well tested. I think that's what Leader Blow Vision and talk about today. There has to be some kind of to standard enforcement team go around, to make sure that all these commercially available materials here that are going to be used in our construction industry, construction industry, has to be well regulated. They must be certified. Let me emphasize this. Every hardware you must certify more. No any small hardware him open normal small corridors in there. Small corridor goes in, then him go big low down low there. That's how most of these hardwares are established in Chadlo town low. Stop them. Let's have a one or two hardwares no more. But you know over enforce him, no good. One or two no more, you make them, then everyone by what complaint you me too. I think you need to assess it properly, where materials, quality and standards are there, and reflecting to the price. Then we will be safe. So that's the point that me like for emphasizing law here, because otherwise we will run the risk of having this standard. Yeah, basically undermine Amazon. Basically undermine. So hardwares too, they have to be certified. They have to be treated just like practitioners, in that industry. Amazon. These two things go together. Amazon. You cannot say me certify you man baba you go and do the building, yeah. But by him building lo what, yeah? Amazon, yeah. He's going to build it on what? And of course, he's going to have, because you're going to assess them with every thing, including, the corporate situation below him, the labor force that he's got, skilled people and so forth. But eventually, they've got to use, materials, to be able to deliver quality buildings in our country, also. And that's what we want to, that's the standard that we want to bring up, emotion. So I will not speak much. I will just say that, that's on that. Maybe others about Sabe amplify, very well, some of these points, but, I just want to stop on that no more. That please just make sure no more that we have this bill looked at all aspects so that we can have a better legislation for a better sector, a very important sector. I mean, you just listen to what the central bank and others have said about the little growth that we have been enjoying, recently. It's all from the construction sector now. And so that's how this sector potentially, can be a good driver, and then, we can find others, for complementing for our economy, to grow well going forward into the future also. So, Chair, I really want to support this bill. I want to thank all of you, all ministers, officials that have been involved with it in the drafting of this bill, the Bills and Legislation Committee, and I want to thank also the government, for coming up with this bill. It's an excellent one, and for you, Minister, within a very short period of time, you have been able to be part of this very excellent work. Congratulations. And with that, Mr. Speaker, I support the bill.
Thank you, Honourable members. I will now suspend Parliament and will resume at 1:30 p.m. and continue with the debate.